Welcome back to episode 4 of A Day in the Life with a Dallas Cowboy fan who lives in Philly, works in Philly. Yes, so as you can guess, it's pretty tough out here for me, but that's neither here or there. Let's get into the podcast, episode 4. I want to start off this podcast with, going over the Eagles versus Cowboys game. Now, I'd be a lie if I were to tell you that going into that game, I knew we was going to whoop them how we whoop them, won by 20 points. I wasn't that confident. I was on the fence. What I had going for me was I knew we couldn't drop 2 games to the Eagles in the season. I knew we were going to split in the beginning of the season, and that's what happened, right? The only reason why I was a little nervous was because, the Eagles just lost to the 49ers bad, right? And I didn't see the Eagles, the team who made the Super Bowl last year, who has been pretty good, the best record in the NFL, dropping 2 games in a row. So my initial thoughts were, dang, we lost them the first game. We barely lost them. We lost them by what, 3 points, I want to say, and we had a chance to win in that first game in Philly. So I'm like, all right, we're not gonna go 0-2 versus them, right? But then again, the 49ers just whooped them. So I know they're gonna be a mad, hungry team, and they're a good football team. So I'm like, all right, what's gonna happen? But then in the back of my mind, I was thinking to myself, like, well, the 49ers, who's playing like the best team in the NFL right now, they lost 3 straight. So if a team of that caliber can lose 3 straight, I knew we were good. And if you guys watched the game, I actually had like a little weight. It was on my YouTube channel. Every time the Eagles score, I was gonna take a shot of liquor, right? So I bought the liquor and everything. And throughout the whole video, you can check it out. It's gonna be in the link in the description. I was saying like, man, I'm wasting my money. They ain't gonna score. I'm wasting my money. They ain't gonna score. And I was right. They didn't score, so I wasted my money. They only scored once, and that was on a defensive play where Dak got sacked, stripped, lost the ball. Their rookie Jalen Carter picked up the ball, ran in for a touchdown, whatever. So I took one shot throughout the whole game. Kind of wasted my money, but hey, when we win the Super Bowl, I'll save that bottle for then. But let's just talk about that game, right? So we won by 20 points. Was it 33-13? If I'm not mistaken, let me check because I don't want to go ahead and throw out some fake scores. 33-13. I'm a Cowboy fan. I should know that, and I did know that, right? Dak Prescott MVP. You can't tell me any other quarterback is playing as good as Dak Prescott right now, right? A lot of people want to say Brock Purdy. I disagree with that because if you look at Brock Purdy, yes, his stats are crazy week to week. But if you really watch the game, even when I watched the 49ers versus the Eagles game, a lot of his stats come after yards after the catch. Like Debo Samuel will catch a 2 yard bubble screen, a 5 yard slant, and he does the rest. And Brock reaps the benefits of that throw and catch. I'm not saying that Brock isn't an MVP caliber this season. He's having a wonderful season. But I think that, the rest of his roster is picking up his play rather than Dak making plays, making deep throws. Yes, we have CD Lamb, but he's making those deep throws to those guys. So his throw is 40 yards by itself, and then he gets the extra 20, the extra 15, the extra 5. And, me being a non-biased Cowboy fan, Brock has the better overall roster. We have CD, outstanding. In my opinion, top 2 receiver in the NFL right now. Have to give it to Tyreek Hill being the number 1 receiver, but I think CeeDee Lamb is right behind him. I've been saying this months and months before the season. It was on my YouTube short. Everybody disrespects CeeDee Lamb. They don't know who he really is. He fell to us in the NFL draft, right? And every season he has had or almost eclipsed the 1,000 yard marker without having a full season with his quarterback. So me being a Cowboy fan, I seen the potential. I'm like, yeah, he's a top 2, top 3 receiver, and he's shown that. But then we're not gonna get into that. Brock Purdy has CMC, Kittle, Debo, Brandon Ayuk. Those are 4 Pro Bowl players right there, right? Now for the Cowboys, we have CD, right? We have a very, very young, I think will be a top 5 tight end in the NFL very soon, and Jake Ferguson. I'm taking Kittle over Ferguson right now, nobody. Ferguson is going to be there. We have TP, Pollard. I'm taking CMC over Pollard right now, but TP is still good. And they have Ayuk. They have Ayuk and Debo. Towards we have Brandon Cooks. I'm happy. I'm so happy we have Brandon Cooks on our team. If we had Cooks last year, I think we'd have made it to the NFC Championship. But whatever. Michael Gallup, I'm on the fence with him. He scores here and there, but yo, man, sometimes I'm like, yo, just stop targeting 13, please, Dak. So when it comes to MVP race, I think that Dak is elevating everybody on our roster besides CD. CD gonna get his regardless. Whereas that 49ers roster, yeah, they elevating Purdy because if Purdy was on a different team, I don't think he's having the season he's having right now. If Dak was on the 49ers, they'd be undefeated. Straight up. So Dak is having a crazy season. You played pretty good versus the Eagles. Poise, I'm looking at his numbers right now. He was 24-39 for 271 and 2 touchdowns. Just looking at the receivers, like I said, Jake Ferguson, he had 5 catches for 72 yards. I'm telling you, Jake Ferguson is going to be the man. He's going to be like a Travis Kelce type of tight end. He's in his season number 2, right? We had CD who had 6 for 71 and a touchdown. Gallup had 3 for 48 and a touchdown. Cooks only had 2 for 37. Right, so the game went. It was a smooth game. I was nervous in the beginning. At the beginning of every game, I get a little nervous. First drive was awesome by us, and then the second drive, I think we got a field goal, and then we got the ball back and scored again, and it was like 17-3 at halftime, I want to say. And then I'm like, all right, was it 17-3 or did we have 20 something at halftime? At halftime, it was. Let's see the box score. I can't see the box score on ESPN app. What we talk? There we go. At halftime, it was actually 24-6. So I'm feeling good, right? I'm like, yo, after halftime, because the Eagles got the ball after half, if they don't score right after halftime, we're they almost out the game, right? We got them 1 foot out the ring if we stop them from scoring, and then if we score, game over, right? And they got the ball, they didn't score, it was a turnover. So I said, oh yeah, 1 foot is out the ring. Let's score and end this game right now, third quarter. And we didn't do that. Like I said, Dak fumbled the ball. They scooped and scored. I'm like, all right, now we don't have a game, but it can become a game. And our defense, they came through. They kept coming through, kept stopping them, and we won the game. The Eagles, unfortunate for them, their top players all fumbled the ball. Hurts, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. Every single one of their top players fumbled the ball. Now I'll say this to all the Eagles fans in the Eagles team, period. You guys can be very dangerous. I don't understand why you don't do this, but with that offensive line and DeAndre Swift, you guys should give him the rock 20 to 25 times per game. I don't understand why. I'm happy that they don't do this because I'm like, all right, cool. They took Swift out the game. They're delusional. It makes it easy for us. With that offensive line and Swift's talent, easily he could go for $115 every game if you gave him the carries. Because his vision is elite. His speed is very good. His quickness is elite. He's like a very good, well-rounded back. Kind of like a Jamal Charles. So whenever you guys stop giving him the ball, I'm like, yeah, thank you. If you kept giving Swift the ball, man, it's hard because y'all are a running team. But you're trying to be a passing team to showcase Hurts. Because you do have 2 legit wide receiver ones. But, yo, just do what wins games for you. Run the rock. But I'm happy they didn't figure that out against us. And, ultimately we won the game. So going into work, like I said, Day in the Life of a Cowboy Fan podcast who lives and works in Philly. When I went into work, it was quiet. Like you could hear a pin drop from across the way. And I'm having a good day. I'm chilling. Work is good, Work past my boss. I don't know if you guys remember what I said last episode. My boss said, if the Eagles lose, don't come into work. Came into work, I still got my job. but we crossed paths one time, and he said, "F you." And I'm like, yo, I didn't even say anything. He was like, yeah, you a smart guy because if you did, I have a lot of nasty, bad tasks, like taking out the trash or doing something stupid that I can make you do. And I was like, you know what I'm saying? Respect. We won that game, but respect, respect. So, Dallas Cowboy fan confidence ranking meter as of today. We beat the Eagles and we have the Buffalo Bills today, right? So we beat the Eagles. We're number one in the NFC East. We're number two in the NFC, right? What should be a Cowboys fans ranking, confidence ranking? Last week, before the Eagles game, I was at like a 8.2, 8.3. Right now, I'm like a 8.5, 8.6. And the only reason why I'm not in the nines yet, like I said, a 10 is, oh yeah, I'm getting tickets to the Super Bowl. That's a 10. Only reason why I'm not a 9 yet is because our gauntlet just began. The Eagles was the Seahawks kind of was the first big team out the gauntlet. Then it was the Eagles. We're 2-0. We have two big bad teams coming up right now with the Bills and the Dolphins. I'm not worrying about the Lions. We'll get to that after this. The Lions are not part of the gauntlet. They're kind of semi, but I'm not worrying about them. Depending on what we do in these next two games, could take my 8.5, 8.6 into the nines or back to the high sevens. Like I said, I'm a realist fan. And that's going to lead me into the game this weekend against the Buffalo Bills, right? So this is kind of a revenge game for us. All Cowboy fans, Cowboy players, coach. It should be a revenge game. Because last time we played the Buffalo Bills, they beat us, and they was over there having too much fun on their bench. You know, they was doing a Dak warm up with his hips and act like he's getting ready to throw the ball. They was doing his little warm up, mocking him on the sideline. They was having a good old time, having too much fun, and it left a bad taste in my mouth. So we need this win, right? For multiple reasons. We need this win to stay number one in the NFC East. We need this win just in case the 49ers lose, we can become the number one seed. And lastly, we need this win to solidify that we have the best quarterback in the NFL this season. If Dak Prescott can do what he does and has been doing, he will win MVP. But he has to ball out versus the Bills and the Dolphins. And we're taking it game by game. Today we have the Bills. I think we can do it. I'm hoping we can do it because I want to be the number one seed and have that bye week. Whereas then we only need 2 wins to get to the Super Bowl. And the Buffalo Bills, they're like a up and down team. When they're clicking, it could be a long day. But when they're off and Josh Allen is throwing interception after interception after interception, oh, we got the game in the bag. What type of Josh Allen Buffalo Bills team I think we'll get today? You can probably guess it. Whenever any team plays the Cowboys, they come out looking like the 18-0 Patriots with Brady and Randy Moss. Every game we play, we get the team's best. It is what it is. Every team. We could be playing the New York Jets, which we killed. So that's a bad example. Who's else a bad team? We can be playing dang, who's a bad team this year? We like the Washington Commanders or football. What do they call this year? We could be playing Washington. They're like 4-9 or something crazy. When they play us, they're gonna be acting like they 15-0, right? So when the Buffalo team comes into town, or we go to Buffalo, excuse me, the fact that they're already a good roster and good team, and now they're playing the Cowboys, they're gonna take that to the next level, and it's going to be a hard game. The only way it's going to be easy for us is if Josh Allen starts throwing picks left and right. What's our defense? We can make that happen. Don't get it twisted. I just think that just like any other game, the Cardinals, when a team plays the Cowboys, their mistakes are very minimum. Unless it's like an NFC East divisional game like the Eagles or Giants, they try to for some reason they play decent in the beginning at the very least. And I don't know. I'm kind of nervous for this game. Um, Not as nervous as that Eagles game, but if I had to make a prediction, I think we'll win today. And my confidence out of 1 to 10 of if we'll win is like a 8. Just because the way they were mocking us on the sideline last time they beat us, last time we played, and just watching Josh Allen play this year, he's very turnover prone, and our defense is is if not the best defense in the NFL. We can get that pressure on them and make them throw some bad throws. It could get scary for them. Now, if he's clicking with Stephon Diggs, and if our linebackers can't cover James Cook out the backfield, because that's the scary matchup right there. When James Cook comes out the backfield and starts running wheel routes or out routes or slant routes, our linebackers have to stop James Cook coming out the backfield. But confidence ranking, I'm like at a 8. I think we can get this game. I think out of the gauntlet, we'll survive. So what, we played Seahawks, that was 1-0, Eagles 2-0. I think we'll go 3-0. The Dolphins, looking forward, I'm not totally, my mindset's not into that game, but I think that speed's gonna be hard for us. So I think we'll lose that game out the gauntlet and go 3-1. Then I think we'll beat the Lions and go 4-1. So I think our gauntlet record will be 4-1, but only time will tell. I think we win today. I am nervous, but it just depends how the flow of the game goes. Dak, if you want the MVP, you have to ball out. You, not the defense, you have to win us this game. And you may ask me, why am I saying he has to win us this game? It's because of Cam Newton comments. Cam Newton came out and said that some quarterbacks are game changers while others are game managers, right? And when he went through it, he started naming quarterbacks who are game managers. He said Brock Purdy, he said Tua, he said Jared Goff, and he paused like he was done. Then he thought about it, was like, this is my chance to disrespect the Cowboys, as everybody else wants to do. Oh, and quite frankly, Dak Prescott. And, he came out with a part 2 of that video and tried to say that being a game manager isn't a disrespectful word. There's only a handful of game changers, and he named Lamar, he named Josh Allen, who throws picks after picks. Hopefully, he don't have a perfect game against us. Hopefully, he keeps throwing those picks today. He named Lamar, he named Josh, he named Pat Mahomes, he named Joe Burrow, and there's another name I can't think of that he named. And I'm like, those guys are game changers, huh? Dak is having a better season than all those guys. Yes, every single one of those guys on his list, he's having a better season. Now, Cam Newton's defense to that comment, that statement as well, is because of his defense, which I think is total BS. Our defense is playing good, but if you look at the rankings, who's ranked higher in the NFL right now? Our defense of numbers or our offensive numbers? Go check it out. I don't know. I'm just a Cowboy fan. I don't know the numbers. I'm not a numbers guy, but I'm pretty sure our offense is doing numbers. I'm pretty sure when Kellen Moore left and went to the Chargers, everybody said we wouldn't be a top scoring team anymore. The only reason why we were a top 5 scoring team in the NFL was because of Kellen Moore. Last time I checked, the Chargers are not good whatsoever. Last time I checked, we're still a top 5 scoring team because of Dak Prescott, not because of Kellen Moore. It's not because of coaching at the end of the day. The coaches, yes, they can make the plays, they can scheme out the defense, but the players are the people who make things happen. So, Dak Prescott. The Dallas Cowboys have had a top 5 scoring offense when Dak has been playing every year. Dak Prescott has never had a losing season when playing, but he's a game manager, right? So today it's the first game out of 2 where Dak can solidify himself as being the MVP and changing the narrative of him being a game manager into a game changer and putting some more respect on his name. Because when you got that Dallas Cowboy jersey on, the respect doesn't come easily. So ultimately, we win today, right? I need Dak to have a big game. I need CD to keep killing it, to take that number 1 wide receiver spot, because he's number 2 right now. There's nobody above CD Lamb besides Tyreek Hill. Nobody. Not AJ Brown, not Stephon Diggs, not Devontae Adams, not Justin Jefferson because he's hurt. If he wasn't hurt, he might be number 2. Jamar, none of them. CeeDee Lamb is the second best wide receiver right now. And if he can keep doing what he's doing, he'll be number 1. So we need Dak to have a good game. We need CD to do CD things. We need the offensive line to block their butts off so TP can eclipse the 100-yard marker for the first time in a couple of weeks. In the defense, keep doing what you're doing. Micah Parsons, unleash the beast. You know, DeMarcus Lawrence, do what you do. Stephon Gilmore, do what you do. They're Bland, get them interceptions. Don't get cooked like DK Metcalf is out there. In the safety realm, just keep on holding it down. Ultimately, I see us winning. So, to finish off this video, this is going to be a nice, quick podcast. To finish off the podcast, I want to talk about my game day predictions, game by game, right? So let's pull up the schedule. Week 15. We already went over it. Cowboys, Bills, I got us. Right now it's Buffalo -2.5. So if you're a betting guy, go ahead and take the Cowboys money line and get your money up. All right. Jets, Dolphins. I'm taking the Dolphins. Texans, Titans. I think CJ Stroud still hurt, so I'm going Titans in that game. Titans looked good last week, so I'm going Titans. Bucks, Packers. Packers sold me out last week bad. They killed the parlay. Packers sold me out last week. Right now it's Green Bay -3.5. I think I'll still go Packers. I'll go Packers. Giants, Saints. I'm going to go Saints. Falcons, Panthers. Oh my God, Panthers are 1-12. Every week we do this, I look at the record. I'm like, ew, they 1-11. Ew, they 1-10. Now they 1-12. I'm taking Atlanta easy. Bears, Browns. I'm taking. I might take Bears. Upset alert. Might take Bears. Chiefs, Patriots. I'm taking Chiefs. 49ers, Cardinals. I'm taking 49ers. Commanders, Rams. I'm taking Rams. Ravens, Jags. I'm taking the Ravens. And then Monday night is Eagles, Seahawks. At first, I was taking the Eagles regardless. But now they're going to be without their number one cornerback and Slay. And that's not good when you see those Seahawks wide receivers. Now, we seen how Bland was at the time our best corner up for Defense Player of the Year award. We haven't heard anything about that since we played them because that Seahawks wide receiver core is nasty. So the fact that you don't have Slay, which in my opinion is your best corner, some people say is Bradbury. No, Slay is the Eagles' best corner. The fact that Slay isn't playing and those young guys have to step up, it could get scary. I'm talking about Geno might throw for 300 plus. Ultimately, I think the Eagles still edge them out. It's going to be a shootout because you don't have your best corner and those receivers, they're nasty. So I expect that'd be a high scoring game. I don't know what the over under is, but if you're a betting dude, go ahead and take the over because points is going to be being put up. And lastly, let's just talk about the playoff picture. Right now we're number 2, like I said earlier in the podcast. 49ers are number 1. Looking at the 49ers, Ravens and Rams are the only tough games, right? So obviously, if they win out, they're going to have the number 1 seed in the bye. Now, worst case scenario for them, best case for us and the Eagles, they go 2-2. They beat the Cardinals, they lose to the Ravens, they beat the Commanders, and they lose to the Rams. People say the Rams, yes, that Rams 49ers rivalry is real. Things that happen that aren't supposed to happen always happens. Don't get confused by that statement. Like, for instance, if the Rams, like the year that the Rams won the Super Bowl, it was like week 17. They lost to the 49ers, and the Rams had a way better roster, but it's just whenever they play each other, it gets a little crazy. So, best case scenario for us, they go 2-2, they lose to the Ravens and the Rams, which I think will happen. I think they might run the table, honestly. Them boys might run the table. So, leading into us and the Eagles, who wins the NFC East, like I said, if Dak is a true MVP and wins those games versus the Dolphins and the Bills, will be the number 2 seed and we'll play the number 7 seed. If not, we'll be the number 1 wild card team and the Eagles will be number 2, which I don't think is a bad thing. The only thing that we lose is home field advantage. But when we're talking about opponents, I think that being that number 1 wild card seed we'll play a weaker opponent. Because if you're just looking at the playoff picture right now, right now, we're number 2, obviously, and the Eagles are number 5, right? So if the playoff picture started today, the number 2 seed, I'm gonna drop some game on y'all, right? So if you have a favorite team in these predicaments, I'm gonna drop some game. You want that number 1 wild card spot over the number 2, and this is why. The opponent you're playing, the number 2 seed, plays Green Bay. Green Bay is a good team. They're 6-7, but they're better than that number 4 seed that you'll have to play if you're the number 1 wild card spot. Because listen, if you're number 2 seed, you're playing Green Bay. Unless the Rams take over that spot, you're playing Green Bay. If you're the number 5 seed, you're playing the winner out of the NFC North. I want to say. Let me see. If you're the number 1 wild card spot, you're playing the winner out of the NFC North. So you're going to play either the Tampa Bay, Atlanta, or the Saints. I'm taking all those 3 games over the Packers or the Rams. So that's just something to look for. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you lose home field advantage, but listen, if you're playing a weaker opponent, they can be home because we're going to beat them. I'd rather play away for a weaker opponent than playing home versus the Packers, who are sneaky good, the Rams, who have Cooper Kupp and Puka Doncic. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. So if we can't get that number 1, I'm chilling at number 5, the first wild card spot. And 9 times out of 10, I think that's what's going to happen because the Eagles, they have the weakest remaining schedule of the NFL. So 9 times out of 10, we'll be that number 1. We have the gauntlet. Unless MVP comes through, we'll take the number 5 wild card spot, and we see what happens. But that's going to do it for episode 4 of A Day in the Life of a Cowboy Fan podcast who lives and works in Philly. That's the Eagles country. Comment below your thoughts. Comment below your favorite team and your confidence meter ranking as of today. But see you guys next time.